Hey dudes! Welcome to day 2 of the audience adventure. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a like. It just really helps other people find it, especially with these where it's a nice ongoing project and the community is building. And I know how many people found it after we'd already finished last time and were like, oh, got it, I missed all the live stuff. So the more we shout about it from the rooftops now, the more people are on board early doors. So firstly, sorry that this video is a day late. I know I was supposed to do it yesterday, but it was really hot yesterday and my friend had a paddling pool with like seats in it. And we ordered takeaway to the paddling pool and I drank several bottles of wine and I just didn't write the chapter. So, sorry. I know that is not really, it's not even trying to be an excuse, is it? It's just me telling you what happened. And I'm saying sorry because I'm sorry to let you down, but I'm really not sorry that was my day yesterday. And in the grand scheme of things, you're getting a video today. So with that in mind, what happened with the voting? It was bloomin' close, so I gave you 2 options to vote on. So the object in the flower bed from yesterday's chapter, was it going to be picked up by someone big or someone small? By 1 vote, someone small got the nod, so someone small. And then I asked you, is that person wearing gloves or a frown? And gloves won by 2 votes. So it was tight. It was very tight. So we are going to go into chapter 2 with a small person wearing gloves, finding the object. And then it's quite exciting, this chapter. I'm excited. I'll talk to you more about the voting options afterwards. So let's listen to the chapter because I don't want to give you any spoilers. So, heave came the cry, and the little object wobbled in the loose, wet mud. The excavation team had not anticipated rain. Most of them had never been to the surface before, and those that had only a scarce few times. The surface was unpredictable. Why bother? Sometimes it was cold, sometimes it was hot, especially when it was bright. The brightness was the thing they really couldn't bear. After centuries adapting to life underground, they had come to revel in the gloom, growing enormous eyes that could pick out detail in next to no light. What light they did have came from carefully drilled holes up to the surface. The holes bent and skewed on their way down, so that the light shifted and bounced and never caused hot little pools to form on the floors. It also meant that when the surface water happened, it trickled in tiny drips rather than racing straight in and flooding an unsuspecting person's home. Today was the culmination of months of planning for the excavation team. Searches had been ongoing since before half of them had been born, scanning the surface with various tools and technologies to search for anything that could be what they were looking for. Deep down in the treasury cavern, there were huge piles of items that had been discovered, but which weren't right. Milk bottle tops, lost rings, empty cans, inexplicable items like the gem with a stick attached. No one knew what that was for, but everyone knew it was pretty, especially if you twirled it by the stick under one of the light shafts. When you did that, it twinkled and shone. Perhaps there were some bonuses to the surface light after all, even if it did sting your eyes. Marine certainly thought there was a good side to the surface light. She had joined the search force 4 cold seasons ago in the hope that her work would take her topside more and more. This was her first experience of it. It was everything she'd hoped. She'd heard her elders discuss wind, but had found it hard to understand. So the air moves? She'd asked Pappy Gloat incredulously. Yep, said Pappy Gloat, revelling in being the centre of attention. Can you see it? Marine had no idea what the air moving could mean. You couldn't see air, so how would you know it was moving? No, but you can see things being moved by it. Like a puppet. Marine thought of the marionette shows they watched after the nut harvest, once the nuts had been eaten and the shells were available for auction for building materials and creating other knickknacks. I suppose so, mused Gloat. I'd never thought of it like that before, though. You can mainly feel the wind. Feel it? What does it feel like? Marine thought about the feel of the cool earth in the tunnels as she trailed a hand along it, or how a trickle of water felt as she plunged her fingers in up to her wrist and let it flow past. Like water. I suppose like water, but it's tricksy and less forceful. It changes direction and tickles different parts of you, and sometimes lies very still with just the lightest touch, and sometimes blows so hard you have to hold on to stay on the ground. Marine just could not imagine this sensation. No matter how hard she tried, stood there in the still, stale tunnel, she couldn't picture the air swirling about her. She blew onto her hands and tried to imagine that sensation, but multiplied. But she just didn't feel it could be anything near right. What makes the wind? Her mind's eye conjured images of 100 sleeping creatures all lying in hiding places and blowing the air around to confound the humans and the surface creatures. We don't know. There are various theories. Marine could tell Pappy Gloat was losing interest now he no longer knew the answers. Some people say it's the size of everything up there. Things are so big they can't help but move the air around. Some people say it's about the heat, but that all seems pretty far-fetched to me. Now that she was up here on the surface, she realized she didn't care at all what made the wind. She just loved the feel of it. It tickled her and made her sneeze. The sneeze earned her a heavy frown from the leader of the expedition. Ezria was a stern, experienced, and severe woman who had been to the surface more times than anyone else Marine had heard of below. Of course, this didn't make her popular with everyone. Most of the people Marine knew from her hometown would rather not visit the surface. It was terrifying and unpredictable. They wanted security and solidarity, and the tunnels and caves that had been dug out and made homes, towns, and cities over the centuries were just enough. Thank you very much. Marine had never felt like that. She'd always felt a yearning to be up top. She heard the stories told of Ezria and the other captains avoiding the snuffling noses of dogs. Dogs were enormous four-legged creatures that would lick or nibble you if you weren't speedy enough on your feet. She'd always felt that these adventures were where she belonged, but it hadn't been easy. End of chapter 2. So, you chose small and gloved. So, I decided, right, I thought I'm going to put small or big, those are your options. And if you'd chosen big, we were going to have another human-based adventure. I was very up for doing another based in the real world, let's do people kind of an adventure. But if you chose small, I was going to see where we went with a race of people that lived under the surface of the earth. So that's where we are now. And then gloves and frown. If it was a frown, they were going to be sad about having found the object. And if it was gloves, it was going to be like an expedition team with the small one. If it was a big person in gloves, it was going to be a gardener finding it and having lost it in the garden years before. And if it was a frown and a big person, they were going to be having a bad day and then discover it. So it's a big choice early doors that we're going a little bit fantasy for this story. So we'll see how that goes. So the excavation team have found the object in the flowerbed and have come up to the top looking for something. Is this it? We don't know. Boop, boop, boop. So we just heard that Marine did not have it easy getting into the force. So I want to know why. Let's find out about Marine's backstory. Your choices are: does Marine have to care for her siblings, come from a very poor family, have a secret ability, or have royal blood? Those are your 4 options for Marine's backstory. Does she have to care for her siblings? Does she come from a very poor family? Does she have a secret ability? Or does she have royal blood? And it's totally up to you. So please like this video and subscribe, and I will be back Tuesday night. So Tuesday the 18th, there will be a live video. Tuesday and Wednesday, there will be live videos next week, and then you will have a recorded one probably Friday next week. So until then, my friends, I can't wait to see your comments. I'm looking forward to seeing what you think. It's very weird doing one of these without you chatting and commenting. And there's no Mackie dog, she's downstairs asleep. But she has curled herself into it. Sorry, I know I'm turning into that dog owner. But she is doing her best impression of a baby and has wrapped herself up in this tea towel, and I freaking love her. I love her so much. So Mackie and I will see you Tuesday for a live video. Tuesday, Wednesday, live videos next week. I will put it all on a header, and I will set up the video links now so that you know. And get voting. What's Marine's backstory going to be? Please share the video on social medias and all that stuff. Let's try and build as many people as are interested. Let's help them find it. And take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. Bye.